Hey there, Star Friends. It's Spiritual Advisor Francesca. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel and clicking on this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a spiritual advisor and level 2 Reiki healer. If you want any of my services, such as personal readings and blockage removals and Reiki healings, you can go to consciousfultarot.com to get it started. Okay, so today's video is going to be on Shawn and Camilla Cabello psychic love reading. Let's go ahead and see what currently is happening between them, the reason why they broke up, and see how each of them are thinking and feeling about each other. Okay, so in regards to what's currently happening between them, so the status between Shawn and Camilla Cabello is that they're currently in a breakup. I am seeing that they are still trying to get on the same page. They are still communicating with each other. They have not ghosted each other. Yet the reason why they have broken up and haven't transitioned towards a new beginning is because they couldn't liberate themselves from trust issues, and they were lacking the cooperation to getting onto the next level. When they reconciled in the beginning, they were going through a tough spiritual ascension, and in that spiritual ascension, they were meant to overcome and transcend old obstacles such as deception, trust issues, and certain possessive blokcages. They also needed to overcome obsession and codependency, and unfortunately they lacked overcoming these lessons, and as a result they both fell into multiple fears that caused them to retaliate onto each other, and they also fell into love bombing each other. The situation became quite chaotic, and it seems as though they both retaliated on each other by wearing a mask and pretending that they didn't care. It seems as though their reconciliation was cut short. However, I do see that at this time they are still wanting to work on things. They're keeping it really secretive because they don't want the public to distract them from their healing process. But at this time they are trying to heal the heartache and free themselves from toxic patterns that once led for them to repeat cycles of failure together. I am seeing that at this time they are trying to get on the same page. So there's a lot of conversation. I see them both trying to work through trust issues and paranoia. I'm seeing them both trying to release outdated thoughts. They're trying to also release the fear of competition and being abandoned. They are kind of weighed down and anchored by other options and evidence that they've seen about other people still being in their lives as they were dating. However, I'm seeing that they're both at a space where they want to still pursue each other. They still both feel like they are the ones that are meant for each other. They still want to open each other's hearts. I'm seeing that right now they're just in a phase of needing to restore their faith, and they're also needing to self-discover why things went wrong. There needs to be a lot of self-reflection prior to entering and transitioning towards this new beginning. I'm seeing that they are both missing each other a lot at this time. They are also thinking about each other. They may feel unsure of the future. However, they're working through clearing out personal blockages in order to reconnect. I'm seeing them both consulting with other people in order to make sense of the separation. They both feel very entrapped by this disconnect. However, I am seeing that they're both really longing for each other. There's a strong pursuit that they're trying to follow. Both of them have been having a lot of anxiety during this separation because they feel like they had something good growing. They had something good brewing. However, it lacked its security and its flexibility, and they keep regretting like little things that they said, like I shouldn't have said that, or I should have done this, I should have been more careful. You know, they definitely rushed into getting back together that they didn't really clear out the blockages that needed to be cleared out in order to come together in a cohesive and coexisting manner. Even though they did fail transitioning towards this new beginning in a peaceful way, I am seeing that the love between them is still very much coexistent. I'm seeing that when they did break up, a lot of it was Shawn's defense mechanisms that pushed her away. She resulted back into like love bombing him, which made her feel like a victim, and then him feel like he was kind of like the perpetrator, or he was like the one that was acting reckless, or he was the wrong one in this situation, because he kept putting his walls up, shutting down, being dismissive, when all she really wanted was answers. All she really wanted was a connection. She just wanted his love when he was giving lack of it. She seemed to be the more anxious one during this disconnect or this disagreement, and he seemed to be the one that was more dismissive. He seemed to be the one that was putting his wall and barrier up, shutting down emotionally, not being able to have a emotional conversation. She seemed to be wanting to kind of like pour out her heart to him, kind of like navigate the situation in a more empathetic way, wanting to evolutionize the connection. He seemed to be more kind of like reckless with his emotions. He was really dismissive. So it led for them to unfortunately not cooperate together, and they fell into a vicious cycle that they've always fallen into. And they fell into not cooperating, not coexisting. So, you know, this lesson between them needed to be learned, as they are now in minor separation. Even though they're still in communication, they're falling into this self-awareness where they both went wrong, where they both need to make changes within themselves in order to enter this new cycle, which I do see happening quite shortly. I'll get to the timeline soon, but they're still trying to keep things lighthearted. I do still see them messaging each other. He may try to develop like a friends with benefits connection with her. She may not be so infatuated by it. But let's go ahead and see how Shawn is feeling about Camilla Cabello and what he wants to do next. Hey Star friends, so let's go ahead and check how Shawn is thinking and feeling about Camilla. So I am seeing that he seems to be reevaluating the way he has communicated with her. He seems to be wanting to change his unique expression with her. I do see that he may be consulting with someone else. It seems as though it may be his sister, and potentially like older female, or a female that may help him navigate the situation with her. But I see that he has developed some sort of self-awareness in his reactions towards her, and the way that he may react to her, and he seems to be wanting to change the way he approaches her and communicates and responds to her. He feels like he has been very unpredictable and impersonal with her, and he seems to want to take control of their communication in a different way. He wants to be more versatile and in control. I do see that he's much more aware of the way that she thinks and the way that he processes her feelings. He recognizes that he may be too detached from emphasizing with her, and he's recognizing that this is something that he may need to address within himself before he goes back with her. He's been going through a lot of realizations at this time, which has made his mind go through several transformations in the last few days. I do see that Shawn is currently looking for proof and evidence that Camilla is still on board with him. I am seeing that he wants to present himself differently to her. He has gone through a transformation that has made him feel that he can really take on this challenge, even though being with her is going to require for him to be different. It's going to require for him to be much more evolved with his communication. I'm also seeing that no one really triggers Shawn the way she does. Like, it seems as though he may feel that the connection is a tragedy in the moment when they're falling into disagreements, but when he backs away, he can see things more clearly. So he's actually been doing like research. He's been going through self-reflection, kind of like looking back at their previous disagreements and seeing himself being in the wrong, where like he could have had a slip up in speaking insensitively to her. It's like he's looking back and he's backtracking, and in his mind he's collecting information, and he recognizes that he was off, that he was wrong, that he shouldn't have been so harsh, he shouldn't have been quick to assume. He should have learned by now how to communicate and deal with her, especially when there's a disagreement. So now he's basically finding proof within himself that he may need to change. It's not only her. He can't blame her for their fallouts. He can't blame her for the discomfort that they may go through. So he's coming to recognize that the connection isn't so bad after all, and it is a connection that is worth fighting for. I see that he's still madly in love with her. He has a lot of passion and affection that he wants to continue to display to her. It seems as though she was actually the one that walked away. However, he did push her away. I do see that he still is ringing her up. He is still wanting to let her know that he's thinking about her. He seems to also be having strong telepathy between them. And as I was channeling that, I saw 444 on the clock. So there's a lot of synchronizations between them, many dreams. I'm seeing him potentially even writing a song about her quite soon. However, I'm seeing him needing to work through resentment. He has a lot of grudges that he thought he let go of, but he still is holding on to it. And I'm seeing him getting advice from these two females that are helping him navigate the situation with her to come out of this tumultuous, rough patch. So he's learning, to communicate with her differently, to receive her differently, to emphasize with her, to release the pain of the past, to forgive, and to fully learn how to enter this new cycle. Now, the action I see him taking moving forward is that I see him putting a lot of effort into transitioning towards this new cycle. I see him wanting to break out of confusion. He wants to clear out the air. I'm seeing him giving her a completely new impression, that like he's willing to stand up for her, willing to stand up for the connection. He's willing to also say no to other people. He's willing to also apologize, especially when it comes to like him being a little bit too brutal or being too insensitive. And I see him making extra effort into collaborating with her again, especially in person. he seems to be wanting to gift her something as well in order to compensate, but ultimately the next step I see him taking is wanting to get back to a space where they're at least able to like mend, hang out, party together, celebrate. It seems as though this is what he wants, especially with his close friends or just one-on-one. So we should see them back together, or at least hanging out. I am seeing in Gemini season it will happen. We may not see it in public, but it may be exposed to us around like the first week or second week of July. So we may see them in the media in July. I'm seeing some sort of like an article or like in the magazine about them being around each other or hanging out, or they're caught hanging out in July. It can literally be around the 9th. So let's see what happens next. Let's see how Camilla is thinking and feeling about Shawn. Okay, star friends, so let's go ahead and see how Camilla Cabello is thinking and feeling about Shawn at this time. So I'm picking up that the ball is in her court. I am seeing that she right now isn't giving him so many promises for the future. However, she's really craving him at this time. She's still communicating with him, but she feels really hurt because she has dealt with a lot of deception on his end. She feels really heartbroken because it seems as though she feels attacked with his reactions. Shawn can be potentially very brutal. Sometimes he can be too stoic. He can be unemotional. And she's very sensitive. She's very sentimental. And sometimes it catches her by surprise just how heartless he could be. So she's still in pain. However, this connection is so magnetic and irresistible that she doesn't want to stop communicating with him. However, she is taking time to mediate and contemplate the situation. So she's not giving him the opportunity to fully have her back as of now or as of yet. However, they're still texting, they're still flirting. There's this anticipation. It seems as though she may be playing hard to get, kind of allowing time to pass so he can yearn for her more and more, and it's making him frustrated. But she feels like this is what's needed so he can learn to make adjustments in his character. She feels like she needs to make him beg for her as well. It's not really a mind game. It's more because she feels so frustrated with this lack of achievement in their new cycle that she feels like this is an intervention he needs to have. She's obviously not the only one in the wrong here, but he definitely instigated this separation. She feels like she also still needs to focus on her work affairs and her family. I do see her really anxious at this time. She's going through a lot of need to rediscover herself still, a need for self-discovery. I see her looking for answers as to why they always fall into this turmoil. She seems to also be potentially getting help. I'm seeing it could be through a guru or a guide or an actual helper, a counselor, and they seem to be advising her the wounds that they may have or the challenges that they may need to overcome in order to be together, in order to stay together. She has a lot of resilience and faith that this can continue because she has a strong feeling that this is her person. This is her twin flame. They have a special bond that she feels like it's on her path, and I see her still being really open-minded to cooperate, even though right now she's a little bit indecisive and still mediating within herself. I see her in a perfect position, so Shawn can make the changes he needs to make, and so she can continue to flourish emotionally on her own while he prepares for her. The action she's going to take towards him is that she's going to wait. She's going to take it really slow prior to investing in the relationship again, because the opportunity is already there for them to get back together or for them to continue the relationship. However, this is just a minor obstacle that they faced, and it just so happens that they made it public. However, this obstacle is being overcome very quickly, and they are both learning to expand out of these obstacles. I'm seeing that she's really anxious. She's scared. I'm not gonna lie. She's really scared that they won't be able to heal the issues because he may not reason with himself about what he needs to fix within himself and with her. But she feels so much joy and happiness with him that I see her continuously wanting to chase the situation. She feels like she's being fulfilled through their partnership and through their soul connection. She's heavily fearing abandonment though, and it's making her feel panic. Yet that's why she's still communicating with him, as it's helping her stay in her divine feminine energy. He's also in his divine masculine energy. They're both really empowered while staying in communication. But they're still preparing for union. They're still preparing for this next phase. This is the action I see her taking. It's just preparation. It's preparation. There's a lot of healing. There's a need for her to work on herself in order to work on the partnership, working on her family issues, forgiving her parents, forgiving other people in her life. But she seems to be desiring him a lot, like their chemistry, their wordplay, the desire is very, very strong. So they seem to still be in like a minor fling, where they may eventually begin to just have, like, you know, friends with benefits, something like in that nature. But ideally they're going to get back together in a relationship. I don't see it taking that long, to be honest. I see them getting back together in Cancer season. So again, I'm getting the second week of July, where they're going to begin to take action. It may be known on a public level that they're back together. But this separation was definitely temporary. It's not going to be long lasting. And even though right now she feels a little bit closed in and trapped because everyone knows, she is still giving emotion, giving her expression to Shawn that it's still a possibility. Yet she's trying to keep him on his toes in order for him to work on himself. And I see her really taking charge of her own personal self-care, her own self-love. But she's getting fueled. She's fueling her own power through this connection. So she's not falling into tough cycles of self-sabotage, how we used to see in the past. It seems as though she's utilizing their connection as a way to overcome her own internal obstacles and not blame him, not shame him, or not see him so much as like a player or as a liar, more just reason with him. So their connection is currently healing. They're transmuting their obstacles, clearing out misunderstandings and pain. And soon I do see them getting back together in an actual relationship. So if you like the reading, go ahead and click the like button, share with your friends and family. If you want any of my personal services, you can go to consciousfultarot.com. I have personal Reiki healings, love Reiki healings, and group Reiki healings. I also have guided meditations and audios. And if you want a personal reading, you can get a live or recorded reading. And yeah, just stay posted, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye now, star friends.